Right now on Morning News Now, out of this world, it was a celestial spectacle that won't happen in the U.S. for another 20 years. Millions of people across the country looking up for a glimpse of yesterday's total solar eclipse.
Seeing how it got dark, that was an experience that, it's like unforgettable.
I'm glad to be a part of something like this.
We'll take you along the path of totality for the once-in-a-generation event. Also this morning, denied. A New York appeals court rejecting former President Donald Trump's request to delay his hush money trial. Plus, President Biden working to make good on his promise to cancel student debt. We'll have the latest from the campaign trail. And attention pro-taxinators, have 6 days to file your taxes. But if you're scrambling to get them done, don't worry. We will give you some expert advice on how to file in time, plus what you need to know if you're considering an extension. And Yukon do it. That's right. The madness is over and hoop dreams now a reality for the Yukon men's basketball team. Now back-to-back champs after last night's thrilling title game against Purdue. We'll talk to star center Donovan Clingan live about his team's back-to-back championships and what's next as the projected first-round pick gets ready to go pro. Good morning. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off this morning. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to get started this morning with that out-of-this-world solar eclipse that captured the attention and the imagination of the nation. Tens of millions of people gathered for the once-in-a-generation look at a total solar eclipse. The moon came between the Earth and the sun, casting a path of total darkness that extended diagonally across the eastern half of the country from Texas to Maine. Some were brought to tears. Not gonna lie, I had a couple tears. Others to laughter and joy as they witnessed this remarkable experience. I took it all in across the street right here at Radio City Music Hall, surrounded by crowds of New Yorkers who paused their day to get a glimpse of the eclipse. We had 89% totality here, but honestly, it was still 100% amazing. Our friend NBC Nightly News anchor Lester Holt traveled right to the path of totality in Indianapolis to get a front row seat to the day turning to night and then back to day again.
It didn't matter where you were. The reactions were the same.
The diamond ring!
Joy, awe, and wonder. A shared experience for millions of people who had a front row seat to history on the horizon.
Just seeing how it got dark, that was an experience that, it's like unforgettable.
I'm glad to be a part of something like this.
People flocked to the path of totality, wider than it was in 2017 and stretching across 15 states from the Pacific to the Atlantic. Our correspondents were spread across it as the moon shadow moved from the southwest to the northeast. Morgan Chesky in his hometown of Kerrville, Texas.
And everyone is in awe right now of this 4 minutes and 24 seconds, which I have to tell you is feeling a little like an eternity right now. The buildup was so strong as we saw the moon slide in front of the sun that when it finally happened, you almost had to pinch yourself.
Soaking up the moment with his family.
Little 10-month-old Eleanor about to get her very first eclipse. I know it's a lot to take in, honey, but Olivia, oh, it's a lot. I know. I wouldn't be anywhere else other than with y'all right now.
There it goes.
In Dallas, Al Roker.
Yeah. Woo! Oh. Yeah. There are the beads. There are the beads. We saw, oh, look at this. Look at this.
And in Maine,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Kate Snow, surrounded by thousands.
I've done this once before, and I got emotional then, and I feel myself getting emotional now. It's just something about it that is so incredibly special. I think it's maybe the commonality that we're all experiencing one thing at the same exact time.
For some, it was about checking something off that bucket list.
I'm from East Africa, and I couldn't believe what I just seen.
For others, it marked a new beginning, Hundreds of couples exchanged vows in Russellville, Arkansas, including Michelle and Randy Weller.
We will always remember our wedding day because of this day.
And despite concerns about the cloudy forecast, the views did not disappoint.
You can see the bottom corner coming out.
I think it's coming out right now.
There you go, right there on the right.
Yep, here it comes.
Pure magic, inviting all of us who paused for a few minutes and simply looked up. What was the emotion you guys experienced?
It was breathtaking.
We were at the Indianapolis Speedway with more than 50,000 other Eclipse chasers. It's just sliding away.
You know, Tom, you and I cover a lot of difficult things to report sometimes, but this is magical.
And as the sky quickly darkened,
I think we're in totality.
we took off our glasses.
Like exciting, happy, like my heart beating is fast.
I am so happy you guys got to experience this. This is so neat.
A special and powerful moment that connected all of us.
My mom always promised me a trip to the moon, so this is as close as we get. 1969, watching the first moon landing together. She made it an event that we would never forget. And this is to her.
Well, she's with you today.
Thank you.
Ooh, see, it gets you emotional. If you missed Monday's solar eclipse or regret that you didn't travel to a spot in the path of totality, don't worry. Here's the deal. You can start planning for next time. Even though there's not going to be another one here in the U.S. for 20 years, several total eclipses are going to take place around the world in the coming years, with that next U.S. one coast to coast. That's August 12th, 2045. So you've got some time to plan. Well, while millions of us witnessed the total solar eclipse from down here on the ground, a lucky few got to see it from 20,000 feet in the air, including one of my best friends, NBC News Now anchor Gotti Schwartz. He takes us up, up, and away.
How lucky are we to have a moon and sun so perfectly aligned that every so often their magical dance allows us to stare straight at the sun for a celestial show like no other.
It turned dark fast and then it turned morning fast.
From the youngest viewers to those waiting for this moment for decades, many were simply overcome by the beauty of total eclipse, while we set out for a different view.
We're going to be flying in formation for a little bit. The plan is that jet is going to stay on the outside of the edge of totality.
A front row seat to history from above.
All right, so right now we are in full-on totality. Let me see if I can show you. Look! We are, what, about 20,000 feet?
Right. The view's breathtaking.
When you're up here and you see the movement of this shadow. Shadow is very dark on this side, very light on this side.
The team from V-Speed capturing a moon shadow passing over Arkansas.
Look at this. Wow. Now it's like this sunrise, but the sunrise is a color I've never seen before. It is like a deep purple. This is incredible. And what a happy coincidence.
A cosmic wink to all of us that we share this planet, united under our sun.
Super excited. I love hearing the joy behind me with when all of that went down.
It is, it's a life-changing experience.
Gotti Schwartz, NBC News, somewhere over Arkansas.
And Gotti's just as awesome as you would imagine hearing that. We're so happy he got that experience. All right, let's switch gears here. A New York State appeals court judge has denied former President Trump's last-minute attempt to delay the start of his hush money criminal trial, which is scheduled to start next week. The former president's lawyers argued the trial needed to be halted, saying an impartial jury can't be selected in Manhattan. Trump is accused of falsifying business records related to alleged hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. The former president has pleaded not guilty to the charges. The judge overseeing the trial has approved a questionnaire for jury selection. Meanwhile, in the race for the White House on Monday, Trump announced on his social media site Truth Social that he thinks abortion laws should be left to the states in the wake of overturning Roe v. Wade. For more on all of this, we are joined now by NBC News correspondent Dasha Burns and NBC News legal analyst Danny Ceballos. Good morning to both of you. I am so sorry that you were not on Eclipse duty, and that's not what I'm talking to y'all about. Thank you very much for joining us. So let's get started, Dasha, with you and the hush money criminal case. So the ruling by this appeals court, it impacted Trump's request request for a delay, not his change of venue motion. We are still waiting for a ruling on that. Walk us through this decision and what this ultimately could mean for the case going forward.
Well, it means just that, what you said there, Savannah. It is going forward. Former president's lawyers were arguing that because of pretrial publicity that an impartial jury couldn't be selected right now. The judge just denied that delay flat out. One sentence ruling, no explanation. And this is going against what the Trump team has really been trying to do with all of these cases, Savannah, which is just push and delay, delay, delay.
Danny, let's bring you in here. So Trump's attorney also filed a challenge to the gag order in the case. This was in the form of a lawsuit that invokes something called Article 78. What is that? How would that work?
Yeah, I filed Article 78s myself. Basically, what they are is they're like a lawsuit that challenges the decision of an agency or a judge. For example, journalists may be familiar with freedom of information requests. And often a government agency will say, no, we're not going to give you those documents. Well, in New York, an Article 78 is a way of challenging what an agency did, a decision it made. And that's exactly what Trump's lawyers are doing here. They filed an Article 78 to challenge the decision of a judge. So that is the mission, but it's going to be really, really difficult because judges have incredible discretion when it comes to these things. So this is a huge long shot at best.
Danny, we also learned last night that special counsel Jack Smith has filed a brief ahead of this month's oral arguments calling on the Supreme Court to reject the former president's presidential immunity claim. So this is a big one here that's kind of they've been using as the sort of spoke to impact a lot of other things or request delays here. What are the broad outlines of this argument?
Yeah, Jack Smith really, in a way, has a decision. Do you challenge the concept of presidential immunity? Do you say it never exists? Or do you really focus on the facts and say, under these facts, what this president did, there should be no immunity? In my view, the stronger case is the second one, because it's dangerous to argue that there is zero presidential immunity after a president leaves office. The simplest example is virtually every president has been involved in some form of military activity, and zero presidents have ever been charged with deaths that occur, whether it be service folks or innocents who are injured or killed in military actions, because it's kind of assumed that presidents have to make those tough decisions and they're not liable for crimes after they leave office for that kind of presidential conduct. So no court has ever come out and really said that explicitly. The challenge here is really determining whether what Trump did under these facts, is he entitled to immunity? And secondly, is that immunity determined before he even goes to trial?
Got it. Dasha, let's bring you back in here and now talk about the former president's comments on social media yesterday regarding abortion. This is big news. He said it should be decided by the states. What else did he have to say on this, and what's the reaction been?
Yes, Savannah, he'd been teasing that announcement for a while. And in this 4-minute video, approximately, he spent a long time talking about his support for IVF, which, as you might remember, in Alabama, a court case there paused IVF treatments for folks across the state because of a ruling from their state Supreme Court. So supporting IVF. But he talked about how he believes this should be left to the states, that different states are going to have different rules. He took credit once again for overturning Roe versus Wade. But he left a lot of questions on the table still, namely, what would he do if a federal abortion ban piece of legislation were to come to his desk if he were in the Oval Office? He's also a resident of Florida, which has just recently put in place a 6-week abortion ban and will also put abortion on the ballot in November. And he saw reaction from both sides yesterday. President Biden and the Democrats criticizing him from the left, saying that he would allow draconian policies to continue in many of these states. And from the right, you've got anti-abortion groups that were critical, saying that they were disappointed with his announcement. But he is really sort of trying to say, look, I overturned Roe versus Wade, and now it is in the hands of the states, but not going to be so easy given this is such a hot topic and something that the Democrats have really seen success on in these elections, Savannah.
Yeah, so for voters, Dasha, to watch him not really take a stand definitively one way or the other on the potential of a federal ban, is that kind of saying to voters, you know, trust me, this is what I think I'm going to do, and how do you think that plays?
Well, he said in interviews before, you know, I'm going to do something that's going to make both sides happy. We're going to have consensus on this issue like never before. But it is a really thorny issue, particularly for Republicans right now. I know from my reporting, the former president has really been focused on this issue. He saw those losses in the midterms, and he felt even the candidates that he endorsed in 2022 went too far to the right on this issue. So he's really focused on trying to message this for Republicans in a way that might be more palatable to most voters, given this is an issue we've consistently seen polling on. The vast majority of Americans support abortion rights to a certain extent. But again, it's a tough line to walk for him, given he's got folks on his right and folks in the middle that are not necessarily in the same place on this.
Dasha Burns, Danny Ceballos, thank you both very much. Well, the Biden administration has announced a new attempt to provide federal student loan debt relief to millions of Americans. It's part of an effort to keep a promise he made when he ran for office back in 2020. Well, President Biden outlined the new plan during a trip yesterday to Madison, Wisconsin. The new efforts come nearly a year after the Supreme Court rejected the White House's first attempt to provide relief that would have canceled up to $20,000 for borrowers. The president says the relief will be a boost for the economy.
I will never stop to deliver student debt relief on hardworking Americans, and it's only in the interest of America that we do it. And again, it's for the good of our economy that's growing stronger and stronger, and it is. By freeing millions of Americans from this crushing debt of student debt, it means they can finally get on with their lives.
NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez joins us this morning with more. Hey, Gabe, good to see you. So walk us through the highlights of the White House's new effort here to tackle student debt. Who's most likely to benefit from this plan, and is it expected that this will be challenged?
Hi there, Savannah. Good morning. Well, it is expected to be challenged. And as you said, though, the White House believes that this will impact millions of Americans. And there are several targeted groups. Let's walk through those right now. Among them, borrowers who are experiencing hardships like child care costs, but also borrowers, and this is probably the largest group, those who have seen their interest balloon over the last several years. They can have up to $20,000 forgiven. There are also people that have been paying undergraduate loans for more than 20 years, also graduate loans for more than 25 years. They're also eligible. Now, these are all more targeted groups than the Biden administration tried the last time. You mentioned when the Supreme Court blocked it. President Biden, as you said, was in Madison yesterday talking about this. Let's listen to some of that.
Tens of millions of people's debt was literally about to get canceled. But then some of my Republican friends and elected officials and special interests sued us, and the Supreme Court blocked us. But that didn't stop us. I've been pushing this, and if I'm reelected, I'm going to push it hard. We're going to get it done next time, is I want to make community college tuition free.
Now, some of the details of this plan have yet to be finalized, but the White House says that they plan to implement it by this fall, just in time for the November election, Savannah.
Yes, so, Gabe, how is the Biden administration looking to push forward with this plan, despite that opposition that the plan received back in the first place, back in 2022? You mentioned it is expected to be challenged. How does he move through that? How does he continue to try to make this a political selling point, knowing that that's coming?
Well, the White House is trying a different legal justification here. When the Supreme Court blocked the previous plan last summer, they said that the Biden administration did not have the proper authority, and that was because the administration was using the HEROES Act, which was passed in the wake of 9/11. This is a more targeted approach. It's not as broad as the plan that the administration had put forward before, and so the White House is using the Higher Education Act, which was passed in the mid-'60s, which gives the Education Secretary broad powers when it comes to student debt. So that's how the White House plans to fight back against critics who say that, look, taxpayers should not be footing the bill for people who went to college and racked up all this debt, Savannah.
Gabe, so as we've been discussing, President Biden is looking to, do this, provide this relief, while, of course, also attempting to drum up this support from young voters ahead of the election, even from older voters who might still have some of that student debt sticking around. That is a super important group when it comes to younger voters, part of the coalition that helped him win the White House in the first place. How much of their support does he have now, and how impactful is an initiative like this anticipated to be?
Yes, Savannah, it's pretty remarkable according to the latest polls, and it is no coincidence that the White House is racing to implement this before the November election. But according to 2020 exit polls by NBC News, President Biden was well ahead of Donald Trump, was ahead by 24 points among voters under 30 years old. But that support has been dropping recently in the last several months, partly because young voters have sharply criticized his handling of the Israel-Hamas war. One of the latest polls, a Fox News poll last month, actually had former President Trump up by 18 points among voters under 30 years old. So pretty significant as President Biden tries to win back some of that support. But because that young vote is so critical in states like battleground Wisconsin, even a small shift in that electorate could swing the election, Savannah.
So true, an important one. Gabe Gutierrez, great reporting. Thank you so much. Well, it is time now for some weather. Severe storms are threatening the south this morning. But you know what? I think we can call the eclipse forecast sort of a win in a lot of places, right, Michelle? I'm going to give you credit for some of that. Good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. I know, it was so awesome. In Doylestown, Pennsylvania, where I live, we had clouds right at that time. But it was still so fun, awesome to see all that and see everyone come together. Now, today we were watching severe storms. We watched them yesterday afternoon. We're going to watch them again tomorrow into Thursday. So this is a multi-day event. We're talking the chance of tornadoes, also really large hail once again, and heavy, heavy rain that's going to lead to some flooding. You can see heavy rain even at this hour. I've been tracking this since 1 a.m. and it's pretty much looked like this, where you see those darker colors, the reds, the oranges, the yellows. That's where we're looking at the heaviest rain falling. So from Texas all the way across the southeast, you see some lightning too. We're hearing some thunder, and we are looking at the threat of severe weather as we go throughout today. 22 million people at risk for really large hail, softball-sized hail once again, strong tornadoes, and winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Now, that could bring down some power lines, some power trees leading to power outages. Where you see the yellows and the oranges, that's where we're seeing the likeliest chance for seeing some of those strong storms. So places like Dallas, San Angelo, San Antonio, Houston, over to Alexandria, also Waco, could see some pretty gusty thunderstorms this afternoon into the evening hours. Lots of rain, too. You saw that on radar. 8 million people impacted by flood watches. We're not looking at flood warnings at this hour right now, but we're going to see them pop in throughout the day. And I saw them earlier this morning, too, in Shreveport, Monroe, and also Tyler. So certainly we could see more flash flood warnings throughout the afternoon hours. This is why we're looking at a whole lot of rain from portions of Texas all the way up through the Ohio Valley. This is all going to move to the east. It's a very slow-moving system with a cold front, with that rain along the cold front. So locally up to 8 inches of rain. We could see that little plus next to it. We could see locally higher amounts as well. So there's that cold front. We're looking at rounds of heavy rain. Severe storms are expected. Then by tomorrow, we're looking at that low pressure system moving across Texas, and then a significant tornado outbreak is possible. That is something we're going to watch very, very closely on Wednesday, and they could be powerful tornadoes tomorrow. So by Thursday, still looking at the threat for severe storms from Ohio to Florida. Also risk of flooding from east of the Appalachians. So lots of rain over the next few days. For Wednesday, we're looking at 16 million people at risk. Where you see that red there, this is where we're talking about the chance of a tornado outbreak. Again, some could be very, very strong. We're looking at red. That's moderate. That's the highest level when you're looking at the threat for severe storms. We also have that orange and yellow. So Texarkana, Lufkin, over to Panama City could also see some strong storms. We're looking at hail too, but that's not the biggest threat. Then by Thursday, 26 million people at risk for severe storms. So again, as I mentioned, this is a multi-day event. We're looking at portions of Central Florida all the way up to parts of the Northeast. That includes D.C., also Raleigh, Wilmington, looking at the threat for some severe storms. So we're going to keep our eyes open. But if you live in Texas, the Gulf Coast states, you want to keep your tornado plan in place today and then also tomorrow.
Important safety reminder. Michelle Grossman, thank you so much. See you in a little bit. There's much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, are you feeling isolated in the office? Well, it turns out you're not alone. Why researchers say more people are experiencing loneliness at work. Up first, though, tension rising in the Middle East as Israel vows to move ahead with its ground offensive in Gaza. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he has set a date to carry out new ground operations in the city of Rafah. According to Netanyahu, Hamas militants are hiding in the area. But the plan is drawing sharp criticism from President Biden because of the potential impact to nearly 2 million Gazans seeking refuge in the city. NBC's Hala Garani is in Tel Aviv with the details.
After that Israeli military withdrawal from southern Gaza, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowing to mount a controversial ground offensive in the southern city of Rafah. There is a date. It will happen, he said, though not revealing when. Israel says Rafah is the last Hamas stronghold, but President Biden opposes an attack on the city where over 1 million Palestinian civilians are currently taking shelter. Meantime, Palestinians returning to the areas Israeli forces left behind survey their shattered neighborhoods in disbelief. You can't live here. Animals can't live here, this man says in Khan Yunis. All of this as there's increasing pressure from the U.S. to reach a ceasefire agreement. Marking the 6-month anniversary of the Hamas terror attack, Netanyahu saying there will be no ceasefire unless Hamas frees hostages. While ordinary Palestinians are desperate for any kind of respite after half a year of death and destruction. Meantime, we're hearing that plans promised by Benjamin Netanyahu to open new aid crossings into Gaza are still in the works, but could take several more days.
All right, Hala Garani, thank you so much. Let's get you other international headlines now, starting with the Vatican, under fire from the LGBTQ community after declaring gender-affirming surgery and surrogacy, quote, violations of human dignity. NBC News International correspondent Megan Fitzgerald joins us now. Hey, Megan, good morning.
Yeah, guys, good morning. That's right. We start in Rome, where the Vatican has weighed in on gender-affirming surgery and surrogacy, saying it rejects God's plan for human life and declaring it a grave violation of human dignity. Now, this is a big blow to the LGBTQ community, who Pope Francis has made strides with. You could even call it a hallmark of his agenda in reaching out and including LGBTQ people into the church. The Vatican says God created men and women biologically, and it must not be tinkered with. Turning now to Nepal, where the Army says a massive cleanup mission will soon be underway on Mount Everest to collect around 10 tons of trash with the support of Sherpas. The Army also says they plan to bring bodies down of those who have died while trying to reach the top of the world's highest peak. And finally, to the Australian outback we go, where this extremely rare blind mole has been spotted and photographed. These things are so uncommon that wildlife experts say they don't even know how many are left in the world. It's a small little thing with these big hands, golden fur, stumpy tail, no eyes. I mean, I think it's cute-ish. What do you guys think? Cute-ish?
We only have that one photo, I guess. It's hard to say.
That's it.
Hard to say. All right, Megan, thank you so much. Coming up, sentencing day, the parents of mass school shooter Ethan Crumbley set to learn their fate today, what to expect from the first of their kind cases. And a new way to get all your stress to float away. We'll dive into the benefits of float therapy next on Morning News Now. Welcome back. The first parents to be convicted in connection with their child's mass school shooting are expected to be sentenced today in Michigan. Two sources close to the case tell NBC News James and Jennifer Crumbley will appear in court together later this morning. They were convicted of involuntary manslaughter in separate trials earlier this year. Their son, Ethan Crumbley, is serving life in prison for the 2021 mass shooting at a high school in Oxford, Michigan, that left 4 students dead and several others injured. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa joins us from the Oakland County Courthouse in Pontiac with a preview. Maggie, thanks for joining us. What can we expect from today's proceedings?
Yeah, so Savannah, we can expect, as you said, to see Jennifer and James Crumbley together inside that courtroom for the first time since these criminal proceedings began. That's according to two sources familiar with this case. We're told essentially that the judge and attorneys involved in this case don't want to make victims give impact statements twice. So they're going to do this once, and then we're going to see 2 sentences handed down, one for James, one for Jennifer. The state is asking for 10 to 15 years in prison for each parent. That would be the maximum allowed in this case, because even though it was 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, they stemmed from the same incident. So Michigan law requires that these sentences be served concurrently, meaning at the same time. So we're talking about 15 years max. That's more than what state guidelines recommend in this case, but prosecutors are pointing to what they call a total and complete lack of remorse from James and Jennifer. So they really want to go for the maximum here, Savannah. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so let's talk through that. So, I mean, recommending this, it would exceed state guidelines, as you just point out, what they are asking the judge to do here in imposing these sentences. And you mentioned that lack of remorse. Meanwhile, though, both defense attorneys have asked that their clients be sentenced to time served. Tell us about that. Tell us about the difference there and exactly what the defense has put forward.
Yeah, essentially both defense attorneys point out that both parents have been in jail during these proceedings for more than 2 years. So both of them are asking for time served. They've maintained throughout this entire case, and they've had separate defense teams, but both teams have maintained that the parents didn't know, couldn't have known that their son Ethan was planning this shooting. This was a tragedy, they say, that just basically impacted both families and impacted the community, impacted the parents just like that. So they're basically asking for time served, best case scenario. There also was a really unusual request from the defense attorney for Jennifer Crumbley asking that she be allowed to serve out the rest of her sentence in her guest house. Writing in a sentencing memo, Mrs. Crumbley is terrified for her own safety and has developed social anxiety throughout her time in jail, adding she can contribute more to society by not being incarcerated. Savannah.
So, Maggie, what are the Crumbley's options for appealing whatever sentence is handed down to them? It seems we may have lost Maggie's IFB. Basically, just a phone call we're connected to her with, and now she can no longer hear us. We'll check back in with her. Maggie Vespa, thank you for your reporting. Let's turn now to our weekly mental health check-in. This morning, we're taking a closer look at what researchers are calling workplace loneliness. Plus, spring has sprung, so let's talk about some spring cleaning for our minds. Love that. Joining us to help break down these headlines is psychiatrist and author of What a Happy Family, Dr. Soumya Dave. Dr. Dave, always great to have you with us. So let's jump right in with this concept of workplace loneliness. Now, the U.S. Surgeon General announced last year that we are in this loneliness epidemic. We've talked a lot about this on our show, but this is specifically what researchers are pointing to at work, experiencing this unique kind of loneliness when it comes to your profession. And the fix isn't necessarily just as simple as coming back to the office in person. Tell us about this.
Right. So like you said, this loneliness epidemic does apply to the workplace. And when we're thinking about that context, there are 3 specific things that can help. Now, the first is to normalize that sense of loneliness. People are feeling lonely across workplaces everywhere. So for that to be brought to the surface and for people to know they're not alone in feeling lonely. The second step is for workplaces to facilitate open, engaging, deep conversations, which research has shown can decrease feelings of loneliness. So that might mean leaders talk about the struggles they feel comfortable sharing, or teams are encouraged to talk about what gives them a sense of purpose, but really having those conversations be a part of the workplace. The third is to practice, because those conversations can seem a little awkward or uncomfortable sometimes, right? And like any skill, it's one that needs to be built. And so practicing and making it a part of a sustainable workplace situation can go a very long way.
Really, really good ideas there for managers really to pay attention to and try to help implement for those that work for them. Let's talk about something else we teased a minute ago. So this is a new kind of mental health treatment. It's called flotation therapy. Some researchers are saying that actually floating in a specialized tank of warm salt water can reduce some of our mental health symptoms. First, I'm just going to say that sounds kind of expensive. I don't know where you're getting a warm salt water type of tub, but tell us why it is that this would be helpful and other ways that we could sort of achieve the same benefits in a way that might actually be possible at home or cheaper.
So you're absolutely right. This can be expensive, and it involves being in one of these saltwater saturated tanks for usually about an hour. The time can vary. Now, for many people, they feel like it reduces symptoms of anxiety and depression, decreases stress, decreases muscle soreness if they're experiencing that. And one of the thoughts behind this is that actually having that sensory deprivation from the physical self helps people actually be more in touch with their emotional selves and what's going on internally for them. Some people also describe feeling like they're in a meditative state when they're in this. Now, we've talked before about how actually being in water itself and even looking at bodies of water can be calming. So I think people obviously do need support, and we do need different forms of emotional wellness in different ways. And so if anybody is near a body of water and can be part of that for a little bit, that can be a way to at least get some of that exposure if we don't have access to a saltwater saturated body of water for an hour at a time.
Pretty good advice there. That sounds kind of nice. All right, finally, let's get to that spring cleaning of the mind you mentioned. So, of course, you know, it's getting warmer out. That can be helpful in and of itself for those who struggle with seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression as there's more sunshine, things like that. Some mental health experts are saying that now might be a good time to start trying to give our minds a little refresh as much as we can. Walk us through how to do that.
I love the idea of emotional or mental spring cleaning as we're going into this new season. And a technique called behavioral activation involves intentionally performing certain behaviors for a boost in mood. Now, the good news about this is that it doesn't take very big steps. So it can include eating lunch outside, meeting with a friend, opening the blinds first thing in the morning so we get that sunlight exposure, which we know can help us in so many different ways, and even trying a new hobby. And so we know that small changes can add up over time to make a very big difference. And as we head into spring and summer and the rest of the year, this can be a great opportunity to try incorporating some new things for those benefits.
Dr. Dabe, we love when you join us. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Coming up, it is tax time. That's right. The deadline to file taxes now less than 1 week away. We're going to get some expert advice for filing on time and how to get your documents ready. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. For the second year in a row, Yukon men's basketball reigns supreme in a top-seeded battle for the national championship. A thrilling March Madness ended with a dominant Yukon beating out Purdue 70-65. The Huskies are now the first back-to-back champs in 17 years. So exciting. Star sophomore center and now two-time national champion Donovan Clingan joins us this morning. Donovan, thank you so much for being here. First, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You got it. We appreciate you taking time for us this morning. So just 2 years into your college career, you've got 2 national championships. How does that feel?
It's hard to describe the feeling right now. You know, it doesn't feel real. You know, people dream of, just winning 1 national title, just make it to the Final Four and, to be able to go out there and, win 2 national titles in 2 years of college. That's special, and, it means a lot to me.
Yeah, it's going quite well, to put it mildly. Going into the game, there was a lot of discussion about your matchup with Purdue's Zach Edey. What was it like to go against him in that particular game?
Yeah, I mean, he's physical. He's really strong. He's big. He's tall. And he's got really good touch around the rim and in the post. But really just the game plan of, letting him score as many hook shots as he needs without fouling him, and don't let the three-point shooters get the threes off. And the game plan worked. I think he had like 37, 38 points, but the team had about 60 total. So, we really just tried to force Zach Edey to, score as many hook shots as he can. And, he was taking 18 to 20 seconds, off the shot clock every time. So, he was wasting time and only scoring 2s.
Can you talk a little bit about the culture at Yukon, what it's like, and if you think it helps fuel your success on the court?
Yeah, it's just a winning culture. We want to win championships. You come to Yukon to win championships and do something special. Coach Hurley really just, pushes you to a level you've never been pushed to. And, he's always hungry, and he really, instills that into us. We always are hungry throughout the year, even though we were winning a lot of games, winning regular season, the Big East tournament. We were never, satisfied. We stayed hungry, and we just kept going, and, we were able to come out with the national title.
You were really able to step up and take a leading role as center this season. Also, though, as a sophomore, what was that like, and what were some of the biggest challenges of that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a difficult jump just because, I went from, playing 12, 13 minutes a game, behind the best big man in the country to, starting playing, 25, 30 minutes a game. I really just had to try to lead the team, lead the new guys, lead the transfers, the young guys, and just show them what it takes to win. And, Andre, Adama, and Jordan really did a great job with, teaching me, Alex, Tristan, and, all these other returners about what it is you need to do to be a leader, and the right way to be a leader and be a great leader. Coach Hurley is a tough coach, and he always coaches us and pushes us to the max. And, you got to be able to, push your teammates and, help your teammates out. It's not the easiest practices, it's not the easiest game plan, but, once you figure it out and you have the right leaders, the team will merge together and, good things will happen.
Donovan, we so appreciate you joining us this morning. Congratulations again, back to back. So cool to watch you play. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Coming up, it's a pretty fitting finale to one of the longest-running shows of all time. Up next, how the highly anticipated last episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm paid tribute to Larry David's other successful sitcom. Stay with us. This is Morning News Now. That is the sound of Taylor Swift making magic. And if you're one of her nearly 300 million Instagram followers, you might have caught that video on her story yesterday. Well, as the solar eclipse swept across the country, our girl was busy eclipsing our hearts, teasing what fans are pretty sure are lyrics from her upcoming album, The Tortured Poets Department. So here's what she wrote. It says, "Crowd goes wild at her fingertips, half moonshine, full eclipse." Obviously fitting because she's a magician. The teaser also included a link to pre-order the project. So we will find out more because the new album drops next Friday, April 19th, and we are ready for it. That is for sure. All right, now let's talk taxes. It may be hard to believe, but the deadline to file them now just 6 days away. If you haven't filed yet, don't worry, you're not alone, but the clock is ticking and the April 15th deadline is really just around the corner. That's why we want to bring in our friend, the tax man himself, Chief Tax Information Officer at Jackson Hewitt, Mark Steber. Mark, always wonderful to see you. First, are you a Taylor Swift fan?
I'm not so much. My wife and my daughter, they're Swifties.
Well, then you got to get in on it with them.
You know, I get everything I need to know from them at the kitchen table.
Okay, there you go. Well, at least you could spend some time. Okay, what do people need to know this really soon? Are they behind, well, I guess they are behind the 8 ball, but are they in trouble if they don't have this done quite yet?
Well, not in trouble. You still have about 140 hours left, not that I'm counting. And all I would simply say to your viewers, do something. You cannot just kick the can down the road and handle it this summer. So either file your tax return, and there's still plenty of time for that. Lots of people out there with extra hours, extra staff, you know, extra capabilities, and even online if you want to do it yourself, or file an extension. But do something, because that failure to file penalty can get big really quick as the interest and, you know, all that accumulates. So file something. You should have all your stuff. There's plenty of people. No reason. And 3 out of 4 are still getting a refund. Go get your money.
3 out of 4 is pretty good. Let's walk us through, if we can pull that graphic back up, some of these last-minute tips in order to file. What should people be keeping in mind?
Well, accuracy counts. No guesstimating and no estimating, even down here at the last hour. And some people take that shortcut, and that can create problems later when the IRS says, hey, this number doesn't exactly match. And more than anything, it can delay your refund rather than get you audited. There's that, you know, myth out there as well. So don't rush, don't hurry. Find your documents. They should be there by now. And if you don't have one, you need to go track that down. Between technology, downloading websites, you can go get that W-2, 1099, or broker statement a lot faster than you could, say, 10 years ago where it was mailed to you. So all you really need to do is find the source, and a good pro can help you with that. There's a lot of online tools and technology that can help you. You can update your own information on your My IRS account. You can file electronically yourself or with a tax pro. You have lots of options, and time is dwindling, but you can get this done. About 60 million people as of Friday have not. So that just tells you you're kind of in good company, but that does not give you a reason to wait till after the 15th. It really doesn't work that way.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about extensions. It was the last bullet on that graphic there. What do people need to know if that's where they think this is headed for them?
Well, the beauty of the American tax system, it's an automatic 6-month extension. I mean, that's what the 4868 form says. You can file it electronically. You can file it as long as it's postmarked by midnight. What it's not, though, and this is the big myth and misinformation on social media, it's not an extension of time to pay your taxes. Just send your form in. If you owe money and you file your extension, you do prevent the failure to file penalty, but not the failure to pay penalty. So you can kick the can down the road to send in your forms later on with an extension, federal and state, but you can't delay paying the man. He wants his money by midnight on the 15th.
So how does that work then? What would you do?
Great question there as well. There's a host of new technologies out there at irs.gov that will allow you to direct pay. You can pay with a credit card, get those points. You can have your bank account drafted if you want. You can even set the day that you want the money pulled out if you want to, when you know you're going to get, you know, paid or have your draw. So you can pay electronically, you can pay with a credit card, you can have your money automatically pulled, or more importantly, you can just put it in the mail by the 15th, your check if you owe. Make sure you mail it registered mail, because you want to be able to prove that in case there's any question and it gets lost. But you have lots of choices and lots of options. The only one you don't have is to miss the deadline.
There you go. Okay, also, I know that the IRS had this important update on what's called Direct File. It's their free tax filing program. What was that update and how does this work?
Well, there's a new pilot program, and I want to emphasize that because it was rolled out late. It hasn't gotten completely updated to handle all states. But you can file for free, but there's always been a free filing option at irs.gov. It's existed for decades. So this is just a new entry into the free tax prep. It is, unfortunately, a do-it-yourself engine, which means you're doing it yourself. There's a bit of a firewall to authenticate and prove who you are. But for some people, and they've had, modest, success so far, or at least reported success so far this year, it might be an option to consider, but it is a do-it-yourself. It doesn't apply in all the states that have a state income tax, and you do have to have some rudimentary, identity proofing to get it done on the front end. So if you don't want that, just go see a dude down the street. Make sure it's the right guy. You don't want a ghost. They've warned about that, too. A lot of bad people creep into the system this time of year with great promises. Don't worry about it. I know a guy. We'll take this deduction, fuel tax credit, or what have you. So you want to be cautious on who you share your most intimate financial information with and to make a relationship for life. It's a best practice on your largest single financial transaction.
Oh, great advice there. So if somebody's watching right now, they have not dealt with this at all yet. After Morning News Now, if they shut the TV off and they're going to go handle their taxes, what's the #1 thing that you would say, this is what you got to go try to do today?
Find your stuff. You should have an envelope. That's the first thing. You can't go see a pro and you can't do it yourself without your stuff. So start that. But assuming you've got your W-2s and your other stuff, find a pro. Go to your website. Google your favorite tax engine. Somebody you walk down the street and see it. JacksonHewitt.com, just like a pizza. You put your zip code in. They'll show you the addresses. Other companies do the same. Walk right in. Call them up. Make an appointment. Whatever your choice is. But go see someone if you just want to offshore this to somebody else and not do it yourself. Otherwise, same thing. Go back to your favorite search engine. Tax software. Use a credible one. You might have to pay a little bit for it, but there's a lot of sketchy stuff out there. So just like when you're hiring any professional, do your homework. Read the reviews. Is it easy to use? Is it hard to use? Find what you want to do. If you want to do it yourself, that's great. Do it yourself, but you have to put in the work. If you want to find a pro, I promise you, on your commute in the way this morning, you passed a tax pro. They're ready to wait for you to get it done. They'll be there till you're serviced. All of us are in that.
Probably past a pizza shop, too.
I promise you they are
just
there.
like a pizza. Mark Stever, thank you very much. Always wonderful to have you.
Savannah.
Finally, this morning, Larry David's beloved Curb Your Enthusiasm has come to an end. The highly anticipated final episode paid tribute to the controversial Seinfeld finale that David served as a co-creator of. NBC News correspondent Valerie Castro has the story, and a warning to viewers, there are spoilers here.
After 12 seasons spanning 25 years full of awkward and cringeworthy behavior, Larry David's caricature of himself in Curb Your Enthusiasm came to an end with an homage.
If you get convicted, you'll be a felon.
And a return to the scene of the Seinfeld finale, which at the time many considered a crime.
All rise.
David returned to Seinfeld for that finale in 1998, where Jerry and the cast were on trial for being insensitive, allowing for fan favorites of past seasons to make cameos.
The soup Nazi.
The Curb episode uses a similar plot where TV Larry breaks a local election law and characters from his past come back to claim revenge.
He came back in and he said he was opening up what he called a spite store.
I will not tolerate corruption from Trump, Putin, or Larry David.
Come on. It was a perfect call.
Even the boss, Bruce Springsteen, appearing as a witness.
What kind of guy is Larry David? He's the kind of man who carelessly, maybe even maliciously, had me drink from his glass and gave me COVID.
As he awaits a verdict, the characters take shots at the other ending.
I've been to all those Seinfeld episodes. Oh, yeah? All I got left is a finale. Wow. Although I heard some terrible things about it.
The evidence of David's maddening personality is not lost on the jury, who find him guilty of rubbing people the wrong way.
We find the defendant guilty.
As he is sitting in his cell, it appears he is determined to have his show suffer the same fate.
The second button is the key button. It literally makes or breaks the shirt.
Until none other than Jerry swoops in.
You're a free man.
Freeing David's character on a technicality and some advice that comes from experience.
You don't want to end up like this. Nobody wants to see it. Trust me.
And while it seems Larry learned a lesson,
This is how we should have ended the finale.
his fans know better than that.
I'm 76 years old, and I have never learned a lesson in my entire life.
Our thanks to Valerie Castro for that report. We warned you about those spoilers. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us, so the news continues right now. Good morning. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe Fryer is off this morning. Right now on Morning News Now, a celestial spectacle for the ages. Americans from Texas to Maine and beyond. We'll show you the celebrations across the country from yesterday's jaw-dropping total solar eclipse and the front row seat mid-air. You'll have to see to believe. Also, former President Trump is under fire from both sides of the aisle this morning after taking a state-by-state stance on abortion in a social media post. Voices on the right now saying it's not going far enough, while those on the left are unsure whether he'd change his mind if he takes the White House again. We'll bring you the latest. Also this morning, we'll dig into how artificial intelligence is impacting the beauty industry, the pledge one popular name is making to keep beauty real. And kings of the dance, the Yukon Huskies, are back on top this morning, besting Purdue last night for their second straight national title. We've got all the highlights later in the hour. But of course, we're going to get started with what everyone can't stop talking about this morning, myself included, the solar eclipse. Did you see it? Millions of Americans in cities across the country sure did. They came together to take in the joy and wonder of one of the most anticipated celestial events of the year. I took it all in right here in New York City, across the street at Radio City Music Hall, along with crowds of New Yorkers who stopped their day to get a glimpse. Look at this. It was so cool. We had only actually 89% totality here, but it still was so incredible to witness and certainly incredible to be with a crowd like that in the streets of Manhattan. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello is in Indianapolis, Indiana, one of the best places to see the total eclipse.
Yeah, good morning. I mean, what a phenomenal day. And we had spectacular weather here in Indianapolis in the heartland. 75 degrees, blue skies, absolutely perfect for the moment of totality. You know, nationwide, hundreds of millions of people collectively saw this together. And people were speechless. People were crying. Some people got married underneath the eclipse. A lot of people just held hands and they were quietly watching this together as we all enjoyed the singular moment of celestial alignment.
It's the moment that left millions of Americans in total awe.
Look at this! Whoa! Yeah! Is this exciting?
Yes, this is so incredible!
It's amazing!
From Texas to Maine, a once-in-a-lifetime experience and a collective pause to take in one of nature's greatest phenomena.
You know, Tom, you and I cover a lot of difficult things to report sometimes, but this is magical.
It is. I think it's a moment in which all of us feel connected to each other as members of the human family, but also to the galaxy.
Millions of Americans gathering across the path of totality, stretching through 15 states. In Cleveland, baseball fans at the Guardians' home opener were treated to an out-of-this-world pregame show unlike any other. Our NBC team also watched from around the country.
3, 2, 1!
Even a partial eclipse stunned New Yorkers.
You walk through New York City and everyone is doing the same thing collectively. Right?
Well, not looking at their phones, they're looking up.
And totality-inspiring wonder.
Look, we can see Venus!
From Texas.
What was it like to see that, babe?
Emotional. Brought tears to my eyes.
To 20,000 feet up in the air over Arkansas.
Now it's like this sunrise, but the sunrise is a color I've never seen before. It is like a deep purple.
And check out this spectacular view from an orbiting Starlink satellite. For NASA, an incredible learning opportunity.
So one of the things we were really looking at today was the corona. The moon blocked out the sun so that we could see that part of the sun's atmosphere. We were also looking a lot at how the eclipse affected Earth. So we had a citizen science project that looked at how the eclipse changed temperatures and clouds.
An emotional and magical experience.
Wow. There's Venus, there's Jupiter, there's Mars.
For people to pause and look up at the sky.
It's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, you know?
Yeah, you know what else was nice about this? Despite all the divisions in this country, nobody was talking politics. Nobody was talking about social divisions. This was a moment when we all came together kind of in a shared humanity and really just kind of leaned on each other and celebrated together. And that was really refreshing. We're not going to have another total eclipse in this country until 2044. Here in Indianapolis, 2153 is the next total eclipse. I've already booked my hotel room because I know you guys are going to want me back. But what a spectacular experience. By the way, more total eclipses around the world if you want to chase them throughout the rest of this century. Back to you.
Yeah, Tom Costello, those eclipse chasers, it's so neat. Thank you so much. Well, while tens of millions of Americans took in the eclipse on the ground, a few lucky people were able to enjoy it from the sky. Courtney Keziah snapped these pictures from onboard a Delta flight. Look at how beautiful that is. From Austin to Detroit. This passed through the path of totality this morning. We are lucky enough to have Courtney here with us to tell us all about it. Courtney, thanks for joining us. What an incredible experience. We understand the flight that you were on sold out 24 hours after Delta announced it. Tell us, how did you manage to get on this flight?
Well, I knew about it because I have a really good friend who's a Delta enthusiast, and she let me know that Delta tweeted that they would be flying this route. So I tried to get on, grab a seat. Unfortunately, it was sold out. However, they opened another route going from Dallas to Detroit. And once they did that, I thought, you know what? I bet there are going to be some seats that open on the Austin to Detroit. So sure enough, I went in, and they had released more seats. So I was able to snag one.
That's so cool. So what was the mood like on the plane?
It was really like a huge celebration. It was like a party plane. Everyone was excited to be there. There were celebrations at the departure gate as well as the arrival gate with balloons, a DJ, etc. It was so fun.
And tell us what it was like when you actually did see this eclipse in the sky. What was that moment like? I mean, you snapped these beautiful pictures. Tell us when you realized, okay, this is happening right now and I'm up in the sky with this.
Well, so the pilot obviously came over the PA and he announced that we would be approaching the path of totality, and we all were getting anxious as the atmosphere was changing. You could kind of sense this energy. So everything started to go dark, and then the pilots had rehearsed this maneuver where the right side of the plane would get to see part of the eclipse, and then they did a dip and turned the plane so that the people on the left side would be able to view it as well. So everyone was just, you know, in awe and gasping, and it was just so much fun.
That is so cool that they made sure that you could all see it and turn the plane like that. It was, each time were cheers breaking out on the plane?
Yes. So full on claps and everyone shouting, and it was just so much fun. Everyone was just really excited to be there.
Okay, Courtney, something also that you shared with us when we were able to talk with you before you were live on our show is something that I just find so funny, so I have to ask you about it. That there were, what did you say, about 7 people who had no idea this was the flight they signed up for? They were just trying to go from Austin to Detroit?
Correct, yes. The flight attendant did a poll at the beginning of the flight to ask, you know, are there any people on this flight that were not aware this was an eclipse flight? And so about 7 people raised their hands. So I'm sure that that was a welcome surprise. Well, hopefully a welcome surprise anyway.
I just can't even imagine, like, the confusion and then the fun and then just all the things if it's not what you were planning for. It's so funny to me. Also, I understand love was in the air, right?
Yes. About 15 minutes after we passed through the path of totality, we heard cheers coming from the back of the plane. And my friend and I turned around and we're like, what's going on? And it turns out a man had just proposed to his girlfriend. So that was very exciting to witness as well. She said yes.
Woo! Courtney,
Yeah.
that is just so much fun. Seriously, I don't know why. I hope other people think it's as funny as I do, imagining those 7 walking up to the gate with balloons. It's just such a funny thing. Courtney Keziah, what a cool experience. I'm so happy for you that you got a seat on that plane, and thanks for sharing it with us.
Thanks for having me, Savannah.
You got it. Have a good one. All right, let's talk weather. Severe weather is headed our way. It's going to bring rain across the south, while unseasonably warm temperatures are going to hit the northeast. Michelle Grossman is here to walk us through it all. Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Hey there, Savannah. Great to see you. And yes, we are looking at stormy weather once again in the south. Started yesterday, and this is a slow-moving front, so we're going to be dealing with this for a couple of days in spots. And we're talking heavy rain, flooding rains, a chance for severe storms, winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour, and even the chance of some tornadoes. So that's going on in in the south. Rain and storms extend all the way up to portions of the Ohio Valley. Again, this will move off to the east over the next couple of days. Behind this front, though, we've cleared out in the northern plains, sunny and mild. We're looking at some showers and some snow showers in parts of the Pacific Northwest into the Intermountain West. The Southwest looks good with lots of sunshine and mild temperatures as well. But this is the focus of weather today because we are looking at really active weather in the south into the lower Mississippi Valley, portions of the southeast, the Gulf Coast. Heavy rain is falling right now. It's been falling for hours and pretty much training over the same area. That means we're going to look at the chance for flooding, and we have seen flash flooding this morning. Looking at some lightning, too, hearing the thunder out there. Where you're looking at those bright colors on the map here, that's where the heaviest rain is falling. And notice it's sort of just like a plume of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's where we're seeing it over the same areas. And even the panhandle of Texas now seeing another batch of really heavy rain. So today, 22 million people at risk for severe storms. That means we're going to see some really large hail once again, 3 inches or greater. What does that mean? That's about softball-sized hail. That can cause some damage on its own. A few tornadoes are possible, winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Especially where you see those dark, the oranges, the yellows. That's where we're looking at the likeliest chance for seeing some strong storms. Dallas, San Angelo, Waco, Houston, San Antonio, Alexandria. I know you went through this yesterday, but you're going to have to keep your eye to the sky for some storms. And we are looking to Savannah for the risk of EF2 or larger. Tomorrow we could see a tornado outbreak with some really large storms, and then another chance for storms on Thursday. So we have some really busy days over the next few days.
We sure do. Michelle Grossman, thank you so much. Sure. Well, there's new fallout this morning from former President Donald Trump's announcement that his view on abortion, that the policy should be left to the states. The former president made the comments yesterday in a post on the social media platform Truth Social. It immediately drew criticism from the left and right. NBC's Garrett Hake covers the Trump campaign and has the latest.
Hey, Savannah. Good morning. Donald Trump had teased this announcement for weeks, but his promise of a hands-off approach to legislating on the issue now has him taking fire from every side of this debate. As the right says he's refusing to protect the unborn, the left fears he'll change his mind again and would support states enacting draconian abortion bans.
Donald Trump is under fire this morning from across the political spectrum after unveiling his latest stance on abortion. Leave any restrictions to the states.
Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be.
The former president also claiming credit for the 2022 Supreme Court decision backed by 3 Trump-appointed justices that overturned Roe v. Wade and returned the abortion issue to the states, some of which have enacted near-total bans on the procedure. President Biden responding in this campaign video.
Donald Trump just endorsed every single state ban on reproductive care nationwide.
This is just filled with some of the things.
The president's campaign also releasing a new ad highlighting the story of a Texas woman denied medical care after a miscarriage, placing blame on the state's strict abortion ban, passed after Roe was overturned. Mr. Trump's stance also criticized from the right, including by his former VP Mike Pence, who slammed him on social media for not calling for a national ban, writing, quote, President Trump's retreat on the right to life is a slap in the face to the millions of pro-life Americans who voted for him in 2016 and 2020. For Mr. Trump, Monday's announcement, the latest step in a long public evolution on abortion.
I'm very pro-choice.
I'm pro-life.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment. Both sides are going to come together. It could be state or it could be federal. I don't frankly care.
Mr. Trump has long said he's personally in favor of allowing abortions in cases of rape, incest, and protecting the life of the mother. But his new policy doesn't even allow for a national way to enshrine those protections, opening him up to still more criticism. Savannah?
All right, Garrett Hake, thank you so much. Well, there's much more to come on this hour of Morning News Now, including a story close to my California heart, my conversation with the woman who is behind one of America's most popular fast food chains. There's a little hint, we saw some of it there. First, though, heightening tensions in the Middle East this morning. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu defying President Biden, setting a date for a Rafah invasion. We will bring you the latest up next. Welcome back. Tensions between the U.S. and Israel are continuing to grow this morning after Prime Minister Netanyahu said a date has been set to send his defense forces into Rafah. That is in defiance of President Biden. The move comes as ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas are once again stalled. Hamas leaders are now saying the latest proposals from Israel did not meet their demands. Here in the U.S., Vice President Kamala Harris is set to meet today with families whose loved ones were taken hostage. It's been just over 6 months since those hostages were taken into Gaza by Hamas terrorists. NBC News international correspondent Megan Fitzgerald joins us from London with the details here. Megan, good morning. So what more do we know at this point about Netanyahu's plan to carry out this operation in Rafah? We've heard about this for quite some time now. There's been so much pushback. Tell us how the U.S. is responding and the details we have.
Well, look, Israel's prime minister has repeatedly said that there will be an invasion of Rafah. He went a step further yesterday in a video message saying it will happen and that a date has been set. Now, Netanyahu has been very vocal about Rafah being what he describes as the last stronghold of Hamas and how a ground invasion is needed to complete this war. But again, you know, the big concern here is that we're talking about more than 1 million people that are sheltering in Rafah, displaced from other parts of the enclave. The United States has been very clear that a ground operation would be a mistake, that President Biden has even called it a red line and has demanded a plan from Israel on how they would protect those civilians. We are hearing from State Department spokesman Matthew Miller, and I want you to take a listen to a little bit of what he had to say.
We have made clear to Israel that we think a full-scale military invasion of Rafah would have an enormously harmful effect on those civilians and that it would ultimately hurt Israel's security. So it's not just a question of Israel presenting a plan to us. We have made clear to them that we think that there is a better way to achieve what is a legitimate goal, which is to degrade and dismantle and defeat the Hamas battalions that still remain in Rafah.
So despite warnings from the U.S., Israel's closest ally, Netanyahu, says a date to invade Rafah has been set. And though he stopped short of any details on exactly when that attack would happen. Guys?
Megan, we are also learning new details about those ceasefire negotiations, as I mentioned, in Egypt. Hamas leaders say Israel's latest proposal doesn't meet their demands. What do we know about this morning? Remind us what Hamas is looking for in these talks.
Yeah, so we actually have new reporting from our Hala Garani, who's on the ground in Israel. We're hearing from a source in the Israeli Prime Minister's office that beyond issues like the return of hostages and the length of a ceasefire, a major sticking point here in Cairo negotiations are centered around the return of Palestinians to northern Gaza. Hala has confirmed with a source that Hamas representatives are asking for the complete, unfettered return of all Palestinians to the northern half of the besieged enclave. And that, according to this source, Israeli negotiators are instead demanding airport-style security checks on anyone traveling back to the north and have so far agreed only to a significantly reduced number of authorized returnees. Now, Hamas releasing a statement last night saying that they're keen to reach an agreement that stops the fighting, but that Israel remains stubborn and has not responded to any of their demands. Guys?
And also, meanwhile, Han Yunis residents have started returning to the area after Israeli troops pulled out of the region. That's another city where many people, in fact, who lived there, who were from there, had moved to areas such as Rafah. What are we hearing on the ground now as people return there? How serious is the damage left behind? Where are they going?
Yeah, so Savannah, I had an opportunity to keep in touch with a family who escaped Gaza. I've talked to them about this, and they said that, of course, they're in the UK now, but they have family and friends still in Gaza. And what she told me is that Han Yunis is unrecognizable. People are returning to complete devastation. She said up until now, some of her family held out hope that their homes would still be intact. But now that people are returning, the reality is setting in, that there's really just nothing left. People are struggling to find where they had their homes because of the destruction and the rubble of the buildings that are still standing. They're gutted. People are digging through the rubble, desperate to find anything from the life that they lived before this war broke out.
Megan Fitzgerald, thank you for your reporting. Well, a British man has completed the run of a lifetime. Russ Cook spent the last year running nearly 10,000 miles through Africa, all in the name of charity. NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley has the details.
Breathless but triumphant, 27-year-old Russ Cook completing a monumental challenge, running the length of Africa.
Pretty good, I'm a bit tired.
That's almost 10,000 miles, or roughly the equivalent of 376 marathons over 352 days.
I'm just trying to make sure we're going the right way. The realization that my wife got pregnant, had a baby, we now have a 2-month-old in the time he's done this.
The UK native crossing the finish line at the northern tip of the continent in Ras Angela, Tunisia on Sunday. After a grueling and at times perilous journey across 16 countries, starting at the southernmost point in Cape Agulhas, South Africa, last April.
Day 337.
Cook documenting his journey on social media as he tackled different climates and terrains. But he also had to deal with unpredictable and dangerous scenarios. He says in Angola he was robbed at gunpoint of his passport and phones, and that in Congo he escaped locals armed with machetes by paying them off.
The scariest moment was in the Congo when I was on the back of a motorbike thinking I was about to die. Getting driven into the jungle. That was pretty nuts.
That terrifying ordeal even making him consider quitting.
Probably for about 1 minute, thought about quitting, and then I realised I couldn't. So that's about as close as it ever got.
And if all that wasn't challenging enough, he was initially denied a visa crossing into Algeria from Mauritania when he turned to social media for help.
I've been following him since he first started, from the very beginning.
His supporters finishing with him on the last leg, in awe of the man who also ran from Asia to London 3 years ago.
I saw the post on Instagram where he invited everyone out. I was laying on my couch. 20 minutes later, I bought the ticket, and here I am. I just couldn't miss a crazy historic opportunity like this.
His run, dubbed as Project Africa, raising almost $900,000 and will go towards 2 charities.
I'm a big believer in sport doing wonders for people's lives, and it changed my life.
Though Russ has more in store, for now, he's just looking to unwind.
I've got a whole list of ideas. But I'm keen to chill out for a moment. Like, spend some time with the family and stuff, you know.
Matt Bradley, NBC News.
Coming up, more legal trouble for controversial country star Morgan Wallen. What his fans are now saying after the artist was arrested in Nashville on Monday for allegedly throwing a chair off of a rooftop bar. Stay with us. That's up next. We are back now with a closer look at the recent headlines involving crime here in New York City. You might have seen these viral videos, people being attacked on the subway, even on the sidewalks of the Big Apple. But the city's top cop says those fears don't reflect reality. For more, we are joined by NBC News Now anchor Tom Yamas. He sat down exclusively with the police commissioner here. Tom, good morning. Thanks for joining us on this.
Savannah, great to be with you here this morning. According to the NYPD, crime is actually coming down in most metrics. But when you talk to New Yorkers or read the papers, it feels like a much different story. I sat down with the commissioner of the NYPD, who rose from the ranks of a beat cop in the South Bronx to now leading a police department larger than most armies. He told me fighting crime in New York now is even tougher than when he started.
From mayhem on the subways to unprovoked attacks on women to a young police officer shot and killed in the line of duty, these headlines and viral videos paint a picture of a big city with a big problem.
New York City went from clean and safe to dirty and dangerous. What happened in New York City?
January 2022, New York City was up in crime over 48%, up in violence. And we looked at just making more felony arrests. And slowly, the violence began to come down.
Edward Caban is in charge of the NYPD, and it's more than 35,000 police officers. In an exclusive interview with NBC News, he says crime is trending down in New York City, but not fast enough because of repeat offenders.
We're seeing that we're locking up the same people over and over again.
In his most forceful statements yet, the NYPD commissioner calling bail reform laws ineffective.
We lock someone up, district attorney puts bail on them. The judges let them go to walk our streets again. It's a broken system.
A system that has come into sharper focus after the killing of Detective Jonathan Diller, allegedly by 2 career criminals with long records.
How many more police officers and how many more families need to make the ultimate sacrifice before we start protecting them?
Is she right?
Absolutely. You know, that's the one thing that no police commissioner wants to do during their tenure is bury one of their own. Whether it's a family of blood or a family of blue, it hurts to the core.
Part of Commissioner Caban's mission now, separating perception versus reality, According to NYPD stats, overall crime is down in the city and subways, but that's not how many New Yorkers feel about their own safety.
I want my legacy to be that New Yorkers felt not only that they were safe, but that they felt safe too. Because if they don't feel that way, I'm not doing my job.
Now, bail reform advocates argue it helps the poor who are disproportionately jailed because they don't have the means to post bail. But in New York, it seems the governor, who is a Democrat, has seen enough, recently announcing reforms to hold violent criminals accountable, giving more power to judges to put offenders in jail. There are more than a dozen states right now currently debating legislation over bail reforms. The commissioner, who is the first Hispanic to run the department, is also working to tackle two other major issues here of concern, right? Safety on the subway, but also the migrant crisis, which we will have, Savannah, much more of later tonight.
Yeah, that's right, because you can see more, right? This is going to be, there's going to be on NBC Nightly News as well, of course, your own show, Top Story with Tom Yamestein. Is that right?
That is right, and it's one of the greatest shows people have said that has ever been broadcast.
That's true. You should just keep the TV on now, or your computer, whatever, all the way through 8 p.m. tonight. Tom, thank you very much. Really, though, interesting as a New Yorker to hear his perspective on this, because we are seeing a lot of those videos. We appreciate you coming by. Thanks for being here early. Well, country music star Morgan Wallen is facing his latest controversy behind bars this morning. The singer was arrested yesterday after he allegedly threw a chair off a rooftop bar in Nashville over the weekend. Here with more is NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas. Chloe, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. You know, Morgan Wallen's career, it has been a roller coaster ride of ups and downs, and this latest incident threatening the rise of this country star. The question is, what are his fans saying now?
The latest controversy for one of country music's biggest stars, Morgan Wallen. The chart-topping singer arrested after allegedly throwing a chair off of a 6-story bar in the center of Nashville's bustling entertainment district early Monday morning. Police reviewed surveillance footage they say shows Wallen lunging and throwing an object over the roof, the chair falling just a few feet from 2 officers standing below. Bystanders posting police carrying the chair later. The singer was released after posting an over $15,000 bond. He now faces felony charges for reckless endangerment and disorderly conduct. His lawyer telling NBC News Wallen is cooperating fully with authorities. The 30-year-old Tennessee native has had a meteoric rise since his debut on the country music scene in 2016, with 2 chart-topping albums, with his most recent one, One Thing at a Time, breaking the record for the country album with the most weeks at the top of the Billboard 200 chart. But Wallen's musical success has been frequently overshadowed by his controversial behavior, including a 2020 arrest for public intoxication and disorderly conduct. Prosecutors dropped the charges. Less than 5 months later, Wallen was dropped from his SNL debut for violating COVID protocols.
I have some growing up to do.
2 months later, they brought him back.
Hi, I'm you from the future, and I came back here to stop you from partying tonight.
The following year, his career taking a major hit after he was caught on camera using a racial slur. His record label and radio stations temporarily dropping him. Wallen spending time in rehab, away from the spotlight.
I was wrong.
But throughout, fans stayed loyal. His One Night at a Time tour was the highest-grossing country tour of 2023. But will this latest run-in with the law shake his fan base?
He's just a heck of a singer and never made a bad song, but he seriously needs some help.
So Wallen, he's expected back in court on May 3rd in Nashville, Savannah, and this is actually going to happen just hours before he's set to take the stage at his latest tour stop, also in Nashville. So we'll see if that tour stop even happens on May 3rd, but he's also touring through the summer.
Yeah, Chloe Malas, really interesting there. Obviously, a lot of fans interested in what is going on exactly. Thank you so much for that. Coming up, a closer look at artificial intelligence in the beauty industry. The pledge one popular company is making to keep beauty real. That is all right after this break. Welcome back. The use of artificial intelligence in the advertising industry is growing at a fast pace, really in all industries. But now some experts are estimating that as much as 90% of the content we see on the internet could be generated by AI, get this, as soon as next year. Well, one beauty brand is taking a stand against the technology in its latest advertisement. NBC News correspondent Kaylee Hartung joins us for more on this. Kaylee, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Savannah. You're right. Personal care brand Dove has committed to never use AI to represent real people in its advertising. And they've released a video exclusively to NBC News to make the big announcement. They say it illustrates the type of perfect images young girls and women are increasingly inundated with online and in ads, making it impossible to distinguish between what's real and what's not.
As part of their Keep Beauty Real campaign, personal care brand Dove has released this 2-minute video. It features images of AI-generated women that pop up online when you search terms like perfect skin and the most beautiful woman in the world. They then compare those to images generated under Dove's beauty standards, as well as the faces of real women. It's part of the company's pledge to never use AI to create or distort images of women, a pledge they hope other companies will also consider signing on to. A global beauty study by Dove found that 9 out of 10 women and girls say they've been exposed to harmful beauty content online, and 1 in 3 say they feel pressure to alter their appearance because of what they see online, even when they know it's fake. AI-generated images in the beauty space is a growing concern, especially for parents.
I'm disgusted, horrified.
Naveen Radwan says she believes altered images of women on social media contributed to her teenage daughter's anorexia.
What are they going to do to themselves when they try to attain a level of perfection that doesn't even exist?
Earlier this year, more than 12,000 parents signed an online petition urging TikTok to more clearly label AI-generated influencers over concerns that showing things like flawless skin and perfect bodies creates extreme and utterly unattainable beauty standards for children.
It might say, hey, this isn't a real picture. This person actually didn't look like this. But subconsciously, your brain's saying, yep, that's what I'm supposed to look like. They're very bad for our well-being and our mental health.
Clothing brand Levi Strauss reversed course after facing major backlash over an announcement it planned to experiment with AI-generated body-inclusive avatars like this image on their app and website. Nike promoted its use of advanced AI to create this video, featuring Serena Williams playing a tennis match against her 16-year-old self.
The game was the result of more than 130,000 games generated using vid-to-player technique.
Coca-Cola-owned sports drink Body Armor poked fun at AI content in a recent Super Bowl ad.
Artificial flavor, optimized for victory times. Artificial? No.
Major fashion brands like Revolve are using AI-generated models on some billboards. Ad agencies say this trend is growing, mostly because it saves brands big bucks. But some wonder at what cost.
And we could see this campaign evolve into some action. Lawmakers in the House are considering bipartisan legislation that would require any online images, video, or audio generated using artificial intelligence to be identified and labeled. But as of now, there are no rules when it comes to the use of this technology. And Savannah, experts say that would be a good start, but that consuming this kind of content can still be dangerous for impressionable young minds.
It's so true. This is good to see. Kaylee Hartung, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us live. Let's get to some financial headlines. General Motors is revving up its robo-taxi project again. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with more on that. Hey, Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. Yeah, so General Motors self-driving car business is getting ready to resume testing with robo-taxis with safety drivers in Phoenix. So Cruise suspended operations last year after Bloomberg says it's been in talks with officials in 20 metro areas where it previously tested cars. The company has been working to restore public trust after one of its cars struck and dragged a pedestrian in San Francisco last fall. That eventually led California regulators to pull its license in the state. The airline industry is struggling with a lack of planes ahead of a summer travel season that could hit record levels. Airlines are spending billions of dollars to repair and maintain older and less fuel-efficient planes and paying a premium to secure aircraft from leasing companies, and some have had to trim their schedules. Deliveries of new planes have dropped sharply due to production problems at Boeing and Airbus. And Target has launched its new membership program as it takes on Amazon Prime and Walmart Plus. Target Circle 360. It costs $49 a year for now, but the price will increase to $99 when the promotional period ends on May 18th. Members will be able to get same-day delivery for food, clothes, and most other products on orders of at least $35. They can also get same-day delivery from more than 100 of Target's retail partners, including Ulta Beauty, Petco, and Sephora, Savannah. Just
right,
another
so-
subscription service.
Right? I'm not sure about that one. We've got quite a bit. All right, Savannah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, now let's get to the story of a family-run burger business with a devoted following. In-N-Out Burger is iconic, and for a lot of people, it's the very first stop when they arrive on the West Coast, or home in my case. But while you may know their burgers, you might not know their story or the woman who's now running the show.
Lindsay Snyder is not your average president of a multi-billion-dollar company. But In-N-Out Burger is not your average fast food chain. Founded in 1948 by Harry and Esther Snyder, it all started as a little hamburger stand with a pioneering drive-through speaker system.
My grandparents, came from very humble beginnings.
Now they have 402 stores across 8 states, and they've amassed quite the following, even with the rich and famous.
I'll have a plain cheeseburger with light onions.
Current President Lindsay Snyder grew up at In-N-Out, but her path to leadership has no shortage of twists and turns.
It really was like that family pain and tragedy that really put each leader in its place.
After Harry died in 1976, Esther handed control to Lindsay's uncle, Rich, but he was killed in a plane crash. The next leader, Lindsay's father, died of an overdose. At just 17, Lindsay was the only blood relative left. She started just like every other employee.
You waited 2 hours to apply to work at a new store in Redding, California, even though your family began In-N-Out. Is that right?
I think that there's a stigma that can come with being, the owner's kid and just wanting to be respected like others, doing it the right way and not having the special treatment.
At 27 years old, Lindsay stepped into the role of president of In-N-Out Burger.
You were very young when you come in to this now multi-billion-dollar corporation. What's this been like for you?
In the earlier days, I actually wore pantsuits, and I did that because I felt like I was supposed to. And then I finally, just was confident in who I am and who I'm not. You're gonna get judged either way, so you might as well be judged for being who you are.
She's made specific and strategic choices, especially in an age of inflation and increasing minimum wage.
How do you keep those prices and keep a profit margin?
I was sitting in VP meetings going toe-to-toe, saying we can't raise the prices that much. We can't, because I felt such an obligation to look out for our customer. When everyone else was taking these jumps, we weren't.
When you think about innovation or tech or artificial intelligence, where does that intersect with In-N-Out?
No to mobile ordering, because that greatly impacts the customer service experience. There's a lot of things that could be cheaper, easier, but that's not the system we go through.
I know your faith is important to you. It is proudly a part of this company, of Bible verses on most pieces of packaging.
Well, my uncle started it with the verses on the packaging, and, he felt we're a family company, we're a private company, and, this is who we are, and I'm unashamed of my faith.
You're a private company. As long as you're here, will that stay that way?
Absolutely.
Because you get calls all the time.
Yeah, messages, emails, Instagram messages.
People DM to buy the company.
Basically, yes.
Not interested in franchising?
No.
What about an IPO? No.
It's staying in the family, and the menu's staying simple, except for those in the know. Their famous secret menu includes animal-style burgers and fries, named for the rowdy teens who would order extra spread, pickles, and grilled onions back in the day. Another favorite?
The famous Flying Dutchman.
The Flying Dutchman was my dad's burger. 2 meat patties with 2 slices of cheese, and his nickname was the Flying Dutchman.
What's your order?
Mine is double meat with pickles, spread, and chopped chilies only.
A burger that keeps customers coming back for more.
Looking at 75 years, so many customers that have made us who we are today. It's just incredible. So there's just so much gratitude.
Who's hungry, right? All right, the burning question, where will they head next? I asked about expanding to the East Coast. Lindsay said as long as she's around, the answer is probably never, but not necessarily. I never say never. As for the future and the legacy of the company, Lindsay's oldest son has now jumped into the family burger business. By the way, you can learn more secrets of the business in Lindsay's book, The Ins and Outs of In-N-Out Burger. Coming up, back-to-back champs. Yukon's Huskies are once again the kings of college basketball this morning after a dramatic championship matchup last night, beating out fellow top seed Purdue for their second straight national title. We've got all the highlights and the celebrations up next. Welcome back. She's the bad guy, and she's back with another album. Singer Billie Eilish just announced her third full-length project. It's called Hit Me Hard and Soft. Fans even got a sneak peek of the cover art on Instagram, where she just gained millions of new followers in a matter of days after word got out that she was adding her followers to her close friends list. That's the thing on Instagram where you can see specific things posted only for certain people. Well, it's been 3 years since Eilish released her last album, Happier Than Ever, back in 2021. But it's been anything but slow rolling for the 9-time Grammy winner, between co-writing her hit song, What Was I Made For the Barbie movie soundtrack, and then winning an Oscar for it. Let's just say she's been busy. Well, there is no stopping her. The new album drops on May 17th. Her voice is out of control amazing, so I cannot wait for that. All right, let's stay on some music. This ain't Texas, but it is Beyonce's world. That's right, Queen Bee has just made music history as the first Black woman to ever lead Billboard's top country album charts just 2 weeks after releasing her 8th studio album, Cowboy Carter. Marcus Dowling is back with me again to talk about Beyonce's latest feat. He's the Nashville country music reporter for The Tennessean. Marcus, welcome back. I'm so excited to get to talk with you with this incredible news, because you joined us the day that Beyonce released Cowboy Carter, 2 weeks later, leading the charts. How significant is this moment?
I mean, I think it's an unbelievable moment, but it speaks more to the potential of the dynamic power of genre-bending music being actualized. I think that's the biggest takeaway of Cowboy Carter's success so far.
Beyonce's often referenced, of course, her Texas roots throughout her career. I mean, that is well known. She is proud of it. We hear about Houston in a lot of her songs. How does this album blend, you know, kind of her background, where she came from, with that iconic Beyonce sound that we've come to know that was decidedly not country, right? And now she's kind of switched to this. Do you think this is firmly a country album? Tell us about the sound here.
I'd say that it is a firmly country album in the sense that it plays well with the traditions of folk and bluegrass and contemporary country for the last 50 years. There's pieces of that all throughout this album. And it's the sense that Beyonce is aware and cognizant of Black artists' spaces within the history of country music, and more so being in conversation with that more so than anything else. I think that's the most important takeaway there.
Absolutely. One of the coolest things I think about this album are these collaborations. First, I just want to say, I think my favorite song on the album is the song with Miley Cyrus, Two Most Wanted. Do you have a favorite song? Right. I have to ask you that first. Do you have a favorite song?
Oh, gosh. Well, it changes day by day.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I'd say that, yeah, for me currently, it's Spaghetti with Shabuzi and Linda Martell. I'd also say that the fascination of Blackbird being 5 African-American female voices. It's Beyonce along with Tanner Riddell and Brittany Spencer and Raina Roberts and Tiara Kennedy. I think that's just a cool thing that opens up the door for young Black women worldwide to be able to have space to be able to sing together and to do it in country music is a really cool thing. Big time.
And I know that you've actually been speaking to some of these featured artists on the album, kind of just about what this is doing for them. Tell us what they're telling you.
Absolutely. They're excited. If you look at, say, all of these artists, for instance, I would limit it, but it's actually unlimited. The scope of being an artist who makes music ideally for the broader audience, but because of a number of counteracting issues, you end up making it for a smaller audience that's typically online and for 200 to 500 person venues, when a 32-time Grammy Award-winning artist takes awareness and appreciation of your art and your craft, and also just the amount of sweat equity that's put into your work, and then puts you on her album, and your streams grow and your renown grows and your visibility grows. I think it's a win for everybody involved.
Absolutely. Is Beyonce pushing the country genre forward? Is she changing it? What's her impact?
Well, Luke Bryan likes the album, and Lainey Wilson likes the album, and then obviously Willie Nelson likes the album, and Dolly Parton does too. So I think that minimally the awareness has grown exponentially for extraordinary change in the genre, and I think that the artists who are on the ground, the ones who were just referenced, getting more opportunities. Like Brittany Spencer was just in a duet with Parker McCollum at the CMT Awards on Sunday night. And, just moments like that and just increasing people's comfort with the potential of what broad-based equity looks like in country music. I think that's the greatest part of this.
Absolutely. It's so fun, too, when you hear her say, it's Dolly P, and you actually hear her voice on this album, too. It's very neat.
Right.
Marcus, thank you so much for joining us. So fun to get to talk about this. Incredible to see this happen. We appreciate you coming back to us.
Absolutely. It's sincerely a pleasure. Anytime.
Talk to you soon. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.